good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for being on another weekly Wednesday webinar. On this Wednesday, February 7th, 2024, making history with the season 2 of these weekly Wednesday webinars. We're going to give a couple more minutes for the people that are joining us, but we appreciate the early birds that are already connected with us. And it means a lot to us that you're here with us because, as we always mention, without you attendees, these webinars wouldn't be possible. And we do it all for you. And we're gonna, go through a great presentation this evening. Managing marriage and money. Somebody told me earlier when they saw that topic that that people should get this before marriage right now. So if you're not married, take notes, and if you're married, take notes as well, because it's never too late to learn something new. And then I see a couple of familiar names on the attendees. I see Amber. Amber, you're one of us. She's one of our employees with the HR department. So thank you very much for being here with us. I know you asked me earlier if the webinar is happening. It's happening right now, live. So I appreciate you for being here. Chaz, I see you on the attendance as well. It's so good to see you, Chaz. Thank you for being here with us as well. Christelle, wow, that's a surprise. Thank you very much as well for being here. We got people from all over the credit union, to be honest with you. So Christelle, thank you very much for being here with us as well. Let's see, who else do I see? Or see anybody else see somebody else? Let me know. As usual, Mr. Ken, thank you very much for being here. You're one of us as well. We appreciate your support as usual. And I see, yeah, that's it. A couple names that I've seen before on this new season 2. So we're just so happy that each one of you are here. And like I said, we're going to go through a great topic. And I think, Milton, if you want to do that intro, you're more than welcome, sir.
Hey, Eddie, thank you so much. And as always, we want to say, we just want to welcome everyone to this exciting webinar. Just we're going to fill you in a little secret. We were having our normal, huddle before we get on and present this webinar. And we are, I think the panel is more excited than anyone to go over this webinar for today. It's definitely a hot topic, especially for someone that's been married for about to be 8 years now. I know Kim, 15, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sorry if I'm throwing you out there, but
17.
17, okay. Thank you. And I know that as many years we've been married, the two of us, with our spouses, I think this is definitely a topic that is very, very. It's always something that we might not always agree to and everything when it comes to finance and managing our money. So I couldn't be more excited for this particular webinar. So again, thank you all for coming in. More exciting, as everyone knows, it's Valentine's week. Well, next week is Valentine's. And with that being said, we wanted to be extra nice. And I'm sure you all saw in the invitation for this webinar. We actually have an amazing gift card, $200 gift card, right, Carrie? Correct me if I'm wrong. So all you have to do in order to participate is stick all the way to the end of the webinar. We're going to go through our Q&A. As always, we ask you if you have any questions, please submit your questions on the Q&A or on the chat feature, and our team will be reading those questions. And as soon as we get through all of the questions that come through, we're going to go ahead and spin the wheel and see who will be the lucky one that will be taking $200 for next week's Valentine's. So pretty much Valentine's will be on us. So I don't think that's the first time we're doing something like this, and it's really exciting. So again, just as a small token of appreciation, we love everyone, and we truly enjoy seeing all, like Eddie alluded to, all familiar names, and especially when we see our own coworkers that are coming in and being part of this webinar. So with that being said, I know that was a long intro. Let me go ahead and introduce the actual panel. As always, our very own Eddie Villanueva from the marketing team. He will be keeping track with all of the questions that are coming in through the chat and the Q&A. Also, Andrea Londono from marketing as well too. She will be backing up Eddie. And as you know, or the person that is responsible, the one that makes All of this graphic, everything pretty much makes the content for us. Carrie Lazar, our senior communications manager, she's also part of this amazing team. And myself, Milton, I'm the membership development officer here with the credit union. And so if anyone has any questions about any of the products, any of the services that we offer here, feel free to shoot us a note, and then we'll be more than happy to answer any question. And like we said every evening, it is our commitment that we don't leave the webinar until every question is answered. With that being said, as I mentioned at the beginning, we chose the right person to present this evening. You all know her, Kim Friendly, our membership development analyst, who is more than excited to start. So Kim, let me pass it on to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Milton, and welcome everyone. We are so excited about this week's Wednesday webinar. It's almost Valentine's Day, and what better way to start the Valentine's season than with a webinar about managing marriage and money. We're going to make this fun. We're going to make it informational. We're going to give you resources. We're going to give you all the tools that you need to be able to have those conversations with your spouse or your significant other. I love that Milton brought up that, really this webinar should be for people before they get married. So if you're out there and you're not married yet, this is really perfect timing. And if you are married, it's just going to help you to increase the conversation about money with your spouse. So let's go ahead and get started. And welcome to Managing Marriage and Money. This is going to be a webinar on romance and the business of life. Like it or not, romance does eventually have a business side, especially if the romance ends up turning into marriage. So in this webinar, we will consider 4 topics. Current research, we're going to give you some current research statistics on marriage and money. We're going to give you communication styles, blending differences, shared beliefs and values, because we all know that our beliefs and values actually have a lot to do with how we communicate. And then financial agreements. We're going to make your conversations around money in your marriage, or if you're getting ready to get married, if you're looking to get married, we're going to give you resources to make it a little bit easier. And we are not professional licensed marriage counselors. However, I think we might just be the next best thing. So we have a worksheet. It's designed to help give you and your spouse or your significant other a process that you can actually follow. Hopefully you'll use this. It's going to help you to build strong communication systems and financial agreements. And what we have to share with you today, it's not flashy, but we can definitely assure you it is much easier than you might think to minimize, the confusion, emotions that we all know money can cause. So you have more time to enjoy life together. So romance and the business of life. So, money can't buy love, but love may bring you money, especially if you're married. If you go to Google and you Google the 2 words money and marriage, you're going to get an overwhelming percentage of negative articles. You really are. Most of them are all about how to avoid the biggest financial pitfalls that cause marital destruction. If you're not careful, you can easily buy into the notion that money is always difficult in a marriage and is the leading cause of divorce. We all think that you guys will agree that money is an unavoidable part of building a life together. It just is. It's also a very private topic. Talking about money makes people feel uncomfortable, even if they're talking about it with their spouse or significant other. It's just the way it is. So all of this could become a breeding ground for conflict, and we don't want that. And it sometimes does, but it doesn't have to. Just be, just know that it does not have to, and we're going to give you the resources for that. So fortunately, there's a way to get clear money agreements that both of you, you and your spouse, your significant other, are committed to and that you're comfortable with. And it's really not rocket science. The money topic in marriage is actually quite easily managed and can even be something that strengthens a marriage. Actually, current research on couples, the spotlight on love and relationship, it becomes very, bright this time of year. It's February. We're going to have Valentine's Day. Americans celebrate their commitment to each other. And yet Fidelity Investments in their 2024 Couples and Money Study, it reveals couples may not be as aligned as they think. 45% of partners admitting they argue about money at least occasionally. Did you hear that? 45%. And while more than 1 in 4 couples identify money as their greatest relationship challenge, 1 in 4. But there's good news, you guys. More than half of respondents feel very good or excellent about their financial health, and 27% of boomers say building a financial plan together is their love language. So there is good news in all of this. Fidelity study, which has been conducted since 2007, it is unique in how it surveys couples individually before bringing their answers together to analyze and identify where couples are doing well with their communication and finances. It all boils down to communication and where they can focus more attention to make progress on their priorities, from anything from balancing bills to paying down debt. When it comes to the basics of any relationship, couples give themselves high marks with nearly, listen to this, 9 in 10 claiming they communicate well or very well with their partner, showing, a promising link to navigating financial success through open communication. Money conversations, we all know, can be daunting for couples, especially when they have competing priorities or different visions for how they should be spending, saving, investing. Those open lines of communication are really the building blocks to any successful partnership. And they help people feel more confident, especially as they navigate financial conversations and expectations. It's not easy, but it can be. We know that couples don't always agree when it comes to money. I mean, that is just the way it is. But it is surprising how many miss the mark, get this, on the question of their partner's salary. If gaps exist around basic questions like salary, couples might have other opportunities for improvement on the financial front, such as, sorting through, tackling important issues together around the next big milestone in their lives, how and when to spend retirement, and later in life issues involving things like elder care and estate planning. By taking the time to engage in conversation and plan, your chances of creating a strong foundation and achieving your goals are greatly enhanced. It really does matter. So 51% surveyed say they worry about being able to afford healthcare costs in retirement. 51% surveyed say they worry about being able to afford healthcare costs in retirement. 54% worry about having enough saved for retirement. 54%, you guys. 45% of partners still say they argue about money at least occasionally. This source comes from the 2024 Couples and Money Study from Fidelity Investments. what makes money and marriage work? That's what we're going to talk about. It's pretty clear that money or communication about money can be problematic in a marriage. It just can be. But what about the good news? What about what actually works? What's a predictor of success in a marriage when it comes to money? Well, just like that therapist would say, open and respectful communication is key. Open and respectable communication is key. It also helps to have shared beliefs and values. Opposites might attract, but when it comes to opposite beliefs and values, there could be trouble ahead. And if you know this in the beginning and you sit down and you write down what those beliefs and values are and you share them with each other, you're definitely going to know exactly where you are. If you and your partner have vastly different values, it could be a recipe for tension. It shouldn't be a surprise that for money and marriage to work, there should be agreements and systems in place. Both parties should work just as hard as necessary to actually cultivate good habits, and both parties should adhere to whatever policies were decided upon and keep all agreements made. And we're going to talk a lot about this in this webinar. Communication, we all know that communication is the key to just about everything. It's the key that opens many locked doors in a marriage. Agreements, policies, systems, just a couple things, they all come out of a positive, open, calm communication. Once those doors are open, compromise actually becomes possible. And once compromise and mutually comfortable agreements are possible, the marriage can be on the road to success. So let's delve a little bit deeper into what good communication looks like. So clearly, we all know that communication about money is an area that needs to specifically be addressed in a marriage. We all know that. Why do you think that it's so different to talk about money? Why do you think most people have such a hard time with it? We're going to give you 10 common answers. It always seems to be a negative or explosive topic. We get so little time together while spending it fighting. That's one of the reasons people don't talk about it. Some people say, I don't like being told what I can do and do what I can do and what I cannot do with money. I've actually said that before, you guys. And some people say we just don't agree on money. Some couples just don't agree. Some people, he or she never listens to me anyway. I mean, they just ignore me, so why would I talk about it? Some people think money brings out the worst in people. Some people think my parents always fought over money. There we go back to our beliefs, our culture. Some people say we don't talk about it because we don't have any money to talk about. Some people say we earn separately and keep our money separate. Some people say we don't talk about it because we don't have money issues. Did I miss anything, you guys? Do you have other examples? Anybody want to add anything? Feel free to put it in the chat. We love this being an open forum for anybody to make comments. Let us know how you've dealt with this. Again, communication. Here's one that we, as financial professionals, hear often. And though it sounds like it must be a joke, it's not. So when asked about why money is so difficult, we usually get one of the 10 common answers that we just talked about. But when you peel away the anger, the frustration that comes from the answer, what you begin to understand and what many people finally admit is that they simply don't know how to talk about money. And that's great because, as they say, admitting that you have a problem is the first step to solving it. And the next step is to figure out your own and your spouse's communication style. This is not easy, you guys. Fortunately, we do have a tool for that for you because, it's not as easy as people might think to get a really clear understanding of even your own communication style, let alone your spouse's. We usually just know that we feel uncomfortable, sometimes agitated, sometimes bored or frustrated, but we don't know why or what to do about it. So in addition, we all have both hardwired and learned communication tendencies and preferences. We do. When we're stressed, our socialized communication style can completely disappear, leaving the hardwired tendencies to rule the moment. And that may or may not be good. Like beliefs and values about money, it's extra challenging in a marriage when communication styles don't match up well. The upside is that you can do something about it. Sometimes we just don't know how. So sometimes we have to build a communication bridge. And what does that mean? What does that look like? If you and your spouse have the same communication style, more power to you. But if you don't, there's actually a lot that can be done. The first order of business is bridge building. You want to build a communication bridge between your differences without making either one of you right or wrong. I'm going to repeat that again. Without making either one of you right or wrong. We each have preferred communication styles, which we'll actually get into more into in a moment. But on a more general level, we each have a socialized style, which is what we use to accommodate other people's style. And we each have a hardwired style. As you might imagine, the hardwire style is the set of old patterns and behaviors we revert to when we're pressured, when we're stressed, when we're confused. So let's dive a little bit into how bridge building works with two people who could very well have different socialized and hardwired style. If spouses have actually different hardwired communication styles, life can go quite smoothly when there's no conflict, no pressure, or frustration in the home. I'd like to be in that home. However, when stress starts, so when you start getting stressed, when you start having pressure, when you start seeing conflict, the difference in style is actually going to collide and make communication really difficult, sometimes impossible. So what should you do if that's the case? The answer is to what you do is more straightforward than you might actually think. First, you have to discover your own communication style. Fortunately, we have a tool for that, which we'll look at in a moment. And next, you have to discover your spouse's, what their preferences are. And then you're going to build a bridge to accommodate and connect those different styles, especially when you have the conversation around money. So let me walk you through these steps while we're actually here together this evening. Let's figure out your communication style and that of your spouse. So personal finance, it's a very private topic. We've already said that. We said that earlier. One that we usually don't tend to share with many people in our life outside of our spouse and financial professional. And by the way, if you don't have a financial professional, let us know. We will get you hooked up with fellows. They would love to take care of you. Personal discussion about our money is always considered a private topic in our culture today, and we don't get much practice talking about it outside of our marriage. Meanwhile, inside the marriage, you know, it can be an emotional and sometimes explosive topic. It's rare that we get to discover how to have comfortable and productive money conversations. And that's what we're going to help you with. Take advantage of this, spend a few minutes. Everybody's going to get this, the PowerPoint slides after the actual live webinar, but spend a few minutes, you know, reviewing this chart of communication preferences. Think about what you need in order to feel comfortable, productive, safe. What is your preference for receiving information? How do you prefer to make decisions? Think about how you would explain what you mean with each selection. What is difficult? What could go better? And what changes you would like to see. The objective here is to understand how you, as a couple, can make the time you spend together discussing your finances more comfortable and more productive. That is the ultimate goal. Now that you've had some time to kind of get a feel of where we're going with this exercise, I'll give you some examples of how to use your discoveries. So I'm just going to give you a scenario. These are made up people. So Dan and Elaine are stuck in a negative pattern. They frustrate each other and argue over most financial decisions. She says he takes forever to make a decision, and he says she's impulsive and impatient. They each think the other threatens their well-being. They begin their money talks expecting the worst, and it usually goes the way it has always gone. They leave angry, and decisions never get made. When they actually looked at the communication preference matrix, they recognized each other's style immediately. Dan's style is, give me the details, allow me the time to process, and remember, I need time to analyze. And Elaine's style is, give me the facts and let's make a decision. So to have a successful meeting and continue that success when they get back home, Dan and Elaine need to build a bridge. We just talked about that, and find a new way to do this part of their life. So from now on, before they are going to meet, Dan will get the detailed information on his own or from Elaine. He will provide her with enough advance time to process and analyze, and he will tell her how much time he actually needs. So when they meet, Elaine wants bullet point facts and a concise overview of the main points. She assumes Dan will be ready to make a decision. And then guess what happens? They agree they need to allow time to discuss compromises when they disagree. And all goes well. Another example is, again, these are made up names. Jeff and Amy both get triggered when they have to talk about financial decisions. When he's stressed, he actually speaks really quickly. When he thinks she's not listening, he raises his voice. He starts yelling. So what does she do? She freezes up when he starts to speak quickly. She expects him to yell because he always does. And then that's all she thinks about. She can't think about anything else. It's coming. It's coming. I know it is. I know it's coming. He's going to yell at me. That's all that's going through her head the entire time. So she's not paying any attention at all. So at this point, both of them want out of the conversation. Does this sound at all familiar? Why wouldn't they? Again, they were aware of their differences, but they never thought that maybe differences aren't so rare, and maybe there's a way to deal with them. So Amy requests that Jeff slow down and not raise his voice. She says she needs time to see the options. Meanwhile, Jeff requests that Amy get to the point quickly and let him know she's listening and she understands. I mean, sometimes that's just basic eye contact, letting them know I am listening. So in preparation for their meeting, Jeff will consider the options and not just his opinion of what the couple should do. Amy will make herself a list to consolidate her questions, concerns, and her opinions so that she doesn't feel like she's just babbling on and on and on to frustrate Jeff. So during a meeting, Jeff will do his best to slow down. He won't raise his voice. Amy will be prepared to give him her bottom line thinking, concerns, and ideas. If she needs more time, guess what they're going to do? They're going to schedule a follow-up meeting to review the options before making a decision. And by following this plan, each person's style is validated and accommodated. No one is right or wrong. Instead, they're simply working toward having the most effective and efficient meeting and respecting each other's wishes. So how awesome is that? It all ends, we're talking about love, so happily ever after. So let us talk about money history. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper. Now that you have the tool to build that communication bridge, let's talk about the topics that can actually help you understand each other better and form agreements. You and your spouse will benefit wholeheartedly from taking a look at your individual and shared beliefs and values regarding money, because we all know that our shared beliefs and values could be completely different. And if you take time to write down your values, your beliefs, and your spouse takes time to do theirs, your significant other, and then you come together, it really is going to form a better communication style. And as I've mentioned, shared beliefs and values, they are the common denominators of successful marriages. So you're going to start with your own money story. We all have one. We all have a money story. It starts really before we are in kindergarten, and consciously or unconsciously, it influences our money behaviors, our expectations, and our decisions today, even though it was way back when. It's formed by direct and indirect messages you receive from your family, your friends, your relatives, even your community. These messages helped formulate how your family talked about money, how they got it, and how they spent it. It all goes back to that. What was your family's money story? How did your family talk about money, spend money? Where did money come from? And then what is your spouse's money story? You and your spouse have a money story that influences your financial and life decisions. Chances are that, your stories are different, and understanding them may explain current behaviors. So shared beliefs and values. We know already that couples with compatible values and beliefs regarding money have an easier time managing their financial world. So you want to complete the statement, the purpose of money is blank. That statement can give you insights into values and beliefs that you have about money. Some will say the purpose of money is freedom to make your own choices. Others may say something like it's for security. It's for yourself. It's for your family. A revision of a famous Gilded Age statement is another example of a statement of money beliefs and values, and it goes like this. The purpose of business is to make money. The purpose of money is to do good. So we want you guys, at some point with your spouse, with your significant other, take a few minutes to take, a first swing at completing the purpose of money statement. Write it down, share it with your spouse, and compare your statements with each other. So beliefs and values, they show up in the four main areas of money management: spending, saving, investing, and sharing. It can be illuminating. It can be so eye-opening, and maybe confirming to use these four categories to explore your beliefs in action. So you're going to want to take one category at a time and talk about your thoughts and your expectations with your spouse. Don't be surprised at all if you find areas of disagreement. It's totally normal and usually fairly easy to work through, believe it or not. Couples rarely even think about doing this type of exercise, so surprises are likely to pop up, and it's okay. If you find the exercise helpful, as many others have, it might be helpful to go in depth with one topic each week. Give yourself time, take one at a time to think about some of the questions that come up. Read articles from experts, talk to your financial professional. Again, if you don't have one, we have one for you, and it's Fellows. The questions shown here are samples, so you're going to have to come up with your own questions. And probably new ones over time. Life is anything but static. We all know that. So let's talk about a financial agreement. Finally, you and your spouse should create written financial agreements. I know this does not sound easy, but just hear me out. You want to clarify intentions, responsibilities, and expectations. Your documents give you a concrete place to return to when your plans are not working. So it sounds nice and tidy, right? It's a relatively foolproof system. The only problem is that very few couples will take the time to write things down. And then when plans aren't working, everyone goes right back to their memories of agreements, and then things unravel at an exponential pace from there. So what is the lesson here? Write down your intentions, your responsibilities, your expectations. It might take some time now, but it is going to save you time spent arguing later. Also, when you have things written down, it actually decreases the time it takes for you to make decisions. That sounds amazing, that you actually won't have to have these long, drawn-out conversations. Psychologists use the term decision fatigue for what happens to us as the day goes on. Apparently, we all have a finite amount of willpower to make good decisions throughout the day. And by the time we hit mid-morning, our willpower is running low, and we begin to experience that mental fatigue, which they're calling decision failure. And then once we eat lunch, we replenish and recover. But the afternoon completely zaps us again. We eat dinner, we recover, maybe, but then we have physical fatigue from that entire day and never really get back to the decision-making abilities that we had in the morning. And as hard as it may be, the time to have these conversations, we're going to say, is in the morning, if at all possible. If we have a written agreement of the types of decisions we'll make, decision fatigue, even if we have it, it's really a non-issue. Developing systems and agreements that are easy to follow and automated as much as possible take a lot of the decision out of decision making. It is also such a good idea to have important discussions, like I said, in the morning, whenever possible. That's when we have our game on. So the best practice suggestion is to take time to create your written agreements now. Do it once and as completely as you can. It might take, a little bit of time and not be that much fun, but it's going to be so worth it for the time, confusion, and disappointment. It'll save you in the future, and it's going to save your marriage. It won't be perfect, but it will be, a foundation to build and rebuild as life does what it does. And we all know that that is change. So financial agreements, of course, we would never leave you without giving you some examples, topics you might want to include in your financial agreement. The chart contains some of the important areas of your financial world that work best with shared agreements like we just talked about. It's productive that we clarify what's working well, where we might need to make some adjustments, and where you sometimes need a reality check. When you develop a written agreement, you're gonna want to answer 4 questions. What are we agreeing to do here? How will we put this agreement into action? How should we establish accountability? There's got to be accountability to each other. Keep each other accountable in the nicest, most patient way. And what difference will it make in our lives if we are successful with this agreement? These questions are just one more step to help your agreement stick. After you compare your responses to the financial agreement chart, run each agreement you make through these 4 questions. They can help you make each agreement with your heart and in your mind. And don't forget to write down your responses. When you're having a moment of confusion or frustration, those responses are going to help you remember what to do and why. Very, very important. So when life happens, remember that when romance happens, financial lives get connected. And that connection can be successful or not, depending on how you handle it. How you handle it is going to involve your communication style. It's going to involve your beliefs and your values. And to create the best climate for good decision making that benefits the couple, financial agreements are a must. They really are. And when life gets turbulent or takes a sudden turn in a different direction, and doesn't that always happen? You know, our hope here at the credit union is you will anchor yourself using the tools of romance and the business of life. So in conclusion, each tool has its purpose and benefits, and together they can really form a solid foundation to keep you safe, keep you moving forward, and towards your hopes and dreams. So we really hope that this webinar was beneficial. We are going to go to the Q&A, and thank you guys so much.
Thank you very much, Kim, for that amazing presentation. Carrie, with the content as usual, you're always killing it. We appreciate it as well. And then I learned so many new things, you know, especially like Kim was saying that, you know, you should definitely come to an agreement with your spouse, with your partner. You want to make sure that you're on the same page when it comes to finances, you know, because it can be a little complicated. But, you know, having the conversation like you were saying and sitting down and seeing what priorities you want to accomplish or what goals you want to, you know, achieve, I think that's going to be very important as well. And a couple of the attendees on the, you know, on the comment sections, they were giving us tips, advices as well. Like Mr. Kemp, for example, he said, some couples are raised in a different financial environments and they may clash when talking about money. They need to develop their own habits and goals, you know. So it's one of those things that you were emphasizing that, you know, maybe you have different backgrounds, you come from different financial, you know, perspectives. But as a couple, you gotta, you know, meet halfway and have that common denominator, which is you want to invest on your retirement. Do you want to save money for a house, whatever the goal might be? Before we go to the questions as well, I want to give a shout out. You know, we already gave a shout out to our, you know, our very own that, you know, that work with us, but also we want to give a shout out to Mr. Wong. Thank you for being here with us. We know that you're one of us as well. You always, you know, giving us great tips as well and you experience. So thank you very much. And of course, last but not least, the man of the moment, Mr. Troy. You know, he's been engaging with our attendees on the chat as well. So we're so happy that you're here with us. You know, he was, you know, asking some questions about, you know, what he can do to save some money as well. But we hope that this presentation helped you as well. But we're so glad that, you know, the questions are coming in, the comments are coming in as well. And, you know, we're about to now go to the Q&A before we go to the raffle of the gift cards. So Andrea, take it away, please.
Okay, thank you so much, Eddie. So the first question is, how about marriages at different ages? I'm in my 50s and 10 to 15 years away from retirement. Those discussions may be different for those in their 20s or 30s.
Who's the brave soul that will answer on the panelists?
I'm going to have to ask you to repeat that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. How about marriages at different ages? I'm in my 50s and 10 to 15 years away from retirement. And those discussions may be different for those in their 20s or 30s. How would they look like?
Yeah, that is a great question. And this webinar was perfect for any stage of life. It really is. The key is to really document what your goals are. What are you trying to achieve? For the 20 to 30-year-olds, you know, those who have been younger longer, like myself, you really need to sit down with a financial planner. Like I stated, we can get you an appointment with fellows and really document what your goals and strategies are. What do you want to achieve? Ask those 4 questions. What am I going to do? What do I need to do? Really, really document, write it down, do a vision chart, do a vision board. If you truly want to keep those goals and that vision in front of you, you have got to talk about it consistently. You really do, not just with your spouse, but with a professional financial planner, which we do offer you with fellows. Somebody who is, 50 years old, thinking about retirement, again, it is a great opportunity to sit down with a professional financial advisor and say, this is what I have, this is what I spend now, and this is where I think I'll be in retirement, and this is how much I think I'll need. And let them take that information and give you a plan to help you to retire to where you will be completely comfortable. I hope that helps.
Another question we have is any particular tips for conversations about money as we approach retirement? Please.
Just the same thing. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve in retirement? Do you have any idea, what you're going to need, where you are? Do you still have a mortgage? How much is your electric bill? How much do you plan to travel? What are your dreams? What are your goals for retirement? Because more than likely, you're not going to have the income that you had when you were working. You might, if you were a good investor, but you might not. So again, great opportunity is to sit down with a professional financial advisor, and we can definitely make that appointment with you for fellows. It all depends on you. It all depends on what you want your lifestyle to be in retirement.
And I believe that comes with what, okay, go ahead, Milton, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was just going to add a little bit to what Kim was saying, and so definitely a lot of great tips. And one thing that I am actually a big fan of, and then you probably probably get tired of me saying this, but getting together and then creating a budget, a family budget, is definitely key as well. To regardless of of your age, having something in writing, having something to fall back and look at your goals as to what it is that you want to accomplish. As Kim alluded to, right? So if you're already thinking about the big decision to go into retirement, are you setting enough money set? Do you have enough money set aside? How much do you need to contribute to that? And also, if that's not enough, as Kim mentioned, make sure that you use additional resources such as financial advisor. And I think I saw a question coming through whether or not if there's a cost to meet with our financial advisor here at the credit union with Michael, and the answer to that is no. I mean, you can set up a free meeting with Michael, and he'll be more than happy to establish a conversation with you and see if what he can do for you in order to help you plan for, regardless again of where you are in life. But definitely know that you're not alone. There's a lot of resources out there that everyone should look for. And as Mr. Lucas alluded to also, that oftentimes, everyone is raised in different with different mindsets, different money behaviors. I think we had a presentation about money personalities last year. I was just thinking of that, on how everyone could be a different spender, right, or a different personality when it comes to money. So, but I'll stop at that. But definitely a great question, by the way.
And just to emphasize what Kim and Milton are saying, this, and we have said this in a few of our webinars. As a member, do your due diligence. Sit down, like Milton was alluding to. See what your goals are, your priorities. Like, are you looking for a first home, for example? or are you looking into retirement already? So just sit down, see what your priorities are, your long-term goals, your short-term goals. And then once you have like, an idea of what you want to do, come talk to us and then we'll find the solution for you, because we want to make sure that here at the United States Senate Federal Credit Union, we'll help our members reach their dreams and goals. Andrea, go ahead. Sorry.
You're fine. Thank you so much. Here's another question. Does the United States Senate Federal Credit Union offer home loans and mortgages for first-time home buyers? How insulin, if at all, are the interest rates from the Federal Reserve governor's whims?
Hey, that's a great question, and definitely a great even better answer from Ryan. That's what I was trying to say. My apologies here. I'm running out of I guess it's a little late now into Wednesday. I'm sorry, but to answer your questions, to answer that particular question, the answer to that is yes. We do have a home lending team here at the credit union. We have Kim Todd and Jeremy Hill. They both are mortgage loan officers. They have over 40 years of experience in mortgage lending combined, and we do work with first-time home buyers. So definitely, if what you're looking for is to buy your first house, please make sure that you reach out to us. We will be more than happy to connect you with either Jeremy or Kim, as I mentioned. And then we are very competitive when it comes to the rates. It's pretty much is going to be very similar to what you see in the market. But there's one thing that I know that sets us apart is the cost that you'll be paying when it comes to the mortgage itself. As we know, mortgage is not just interest, right? There's a lot of additional little fees that come in whenever you're going through a mortgage process. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, in this webinar, we actually have one of our team members from the lending team, Christelle, who is here as well. So, again, if anyone has any questions, if you're looking to buy your first house, if you recently got married and you want to buy a house together with your spouse, please come in. We would love to make that connection. And then one thing I also wanted to add to this is that we are a one-stop shop. Anything that you can think of when it comes to finances, we have all those products and services for you, regardless of of the different complexity of the need that that you have. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to assist you with the home buying process.
Also, somebody on the comments was mentioning about needing budgeting tools. I saw a couple of comments that were asking about that. And Carrie, do we have budgeting tools in our website? What's the answer for that?
So yes, we do have budgeting resources, tips, information, articles in the Best Life section of our website. So there's you'll find, I'll throw the link in here when I'm done, when I go back on mute, but you'll find worksheets and, like I said, tips and all that stuff, and got you covered. I'll throw the link in the chat.
So what we're trying to say is that here at the United States Senate Federal Credit Union, we want to make sure that our members are, set up for success. So any questions you may have, or like Milton was saying, one-stop shop, if you think about it, most likely 99% we have the solution for you. And if we don't have it, we'll find the solution for you. Andrea?
Yeah, thank you. What if
Question. My apologies. Before you go to the next question, I just want to remind everyone that please stick through. We're almost done here with the Q&A. We do have the $200 raffle for the gift card for Valentine's. So again, we appreciate it, and we thank everyone. We are actually right on point with the schedule, so I'm excited for that. But again, we're almost done with the questions. So please stick through to the end, and we'll be doing the raffle here very shortly.
And Andrea, Amber, Chaz, Christelle, Troy, I'm so sorry. Employees do not qualify. So I just wanted to mention that. Because I know Troy is all about saving money. So
sorry. Next question is Troy, you're funny. What if one partner feels more need to engage in this conversation than the other? Any
So
takers?
this is going to be those different communication preferences that we talked about, knowing what your communication style is, your spouse's communication style, and building that bridge to accommodate and connect both of your differences together. I mean, it's really that simple. If one is more confident and comfortable in talking about it, and you are the one who can sit and listen patiently as they go over it, then it's going to come together seamlessly. We still recommend that you use the tools and resources that we gave you and sit down and write down those agreements. It will help in the long run. I also wanted to say real quick for the ones who are asking retirement questions, we do have Retirement Central on our website. There is a plethora of information, tools, knowledge. Feel free, if you're not ready to meet, with a financial advisor, go out and use that Retirement Central.
Next question. Do you think couples should have an equal responsibility for financial planning?
That's a great question, Andrea, and this is one where, like I said, although I'm almost 8 years into my marriage, so I'm throwing myself as an example here, but probably Kim will agree with me on this one too. And you know what? The answer for that, obviously, we all know that in the households, in the household, there might be, a person that brings in more money, they get paid more, or they have, before they got married, they're probably more responsible when it came to their finances, so they were able to save more, they had less debt. And so again, goes back to what Kim was saying, right? The communication that you have to have with your significant other, it's very important. But also I do feel I'm in an agreement that that each individual has to look at their own finances and come into an amicable, agreement as to, okay, this is what's going to be, this is what's fair. And this is how we can make it work. But again, I'm not a believer that everything should be 50-50. I think that if the other person is bringing, a crazy amount of debt into the marriage, I think that person should still be responsible for it. And obviously it's up to the other person, right? Whether or not they want to, find a way to help that person get through that stage and then kind of like start fresh. But again, in my opinion, I don't think that should be a requirement to have everyone, be 50-50, especially if you come from my previous, before you getting married, you were very responsible with your debts. You manage that to a point where you actually don't have a lot. And if the other person is struggling, then again, it truly is something that you gotta keep an eye for. And I think I just saw a comment coming in also, if before you go down and walk down the aisle and say I do, there's always a beautiful document that is called a prenup. So why not, right? Kim, you want to add something to it?
Sure, why not? If that's your preference, absolutely. You got to do whatever makes you feel most comfortable and confident in your marriage.
And just a disclaimer, everybody, we're not a marriage counselor, so please don't blame Milton like, oh, see, Milton told me it's not 50-50. So please don't blame him for anything. We're just giving you our opinion. And like Milton was saying, he said, in my opinion, that's his experience, and, we're just sharing what might work for somebody, but we're not, by all means, we're not saying it shouldn't be 50-50. Every couple is different. Everybody communicates different. But I think the key factor, regardless of, everybody's marriage, communication is key, when it comes down to those big decisions that you want to make, what you want to do with your money, and like we were emphasizing earlier, what goals you want to accomplish together. Andrea?
Yes. Would we send a message through the chat and USFCU to set up a meeting with a fellow?
I'm
So
gonna say that oh, go ahead, Carrie.
Oh, I was just gonna say you can schedule straight through our website. The primary advisor that we work with, his name's Michael from Fellows Financial, and there's a link to his calendar on our webpage, and you can choose to meet with him via Teams, via Zoom, just a standard phone call. There's options for all of that. And I'll put the link in there again, or Eddie, a sec if you copy and repaste, but our website, then learn a little bit about Fellows, and then there's a schedule now button to schedule a complimentary one-on-one with him.
Thank you so much, Carrie. My wife and I are creating a budget together for the first time. She just started a job and now we have income to plan for our future. We got married 2 years ago and now she's a permanent resident. And I tried opening an account for her at USFCU for her a new direct deposit, but but it was declined because she was couldn't. Oh my goodness. Why is it moving? Sorry, hold on.
Disclaimer, we're live, everybody. So everything you see is we're not pre-recorded. This is happening. So take your time, Andrea.
Sorry, I currently lost the question.
I think I just saw it, Andrea. So it's asking at that time when he applied for membership, the green card was just a conditional green card, but now it's good to go. So so what I will say to that, Mr. Gary, it's that go ahead and submit the application again, and feel free to reach out to either myself or Kim Friendly, and it will be more than happy, since you're already a member here with the credit union, we'll be more than happy to assist you with that, and we'll make sure that that it goes through. So again, we do have requirements when you're becoming a member with the credit union, and obviously one of those is that you have to have a proof of being a permanent resident here at the credit union. So again, it's just one of the requirements, for you to become a member. But if that's been taken care of, then please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to revisit that application, and make sure that we can make it happen and have you both a joint account here at the credit union.
Mr. Gary.
Mr. Gary, I just wanted to say, I'm so excited for you because you and your wife are creating your first time budget together. She has started a job and now you're going to have income to plan for your future. Congratulations.
And then, Mr. Gary, just to make it more personalized, like Milton was saying, you can contact us. You can call our 800 number. And if you want to talk to Kim, she can personally help you. Just click on option 7. That's the magic number. If you want to talk to Kim freely, she will help you out with that, specifically option 7. And Mr. Gary, I'm taking notes from you, especially because you say that, like Kim was saying, you just got married and just starting your budget. That's exciting times. That's very exciting time. So, and then we had one comment from Mr. Charles. He said that, and this is just a comment. He says, we have been married 50 years. I have shared the same savings and investment goals these many happy years. See, I like that. Happy wife, happy life.
50
many
years.
Happy years. Start early and save for your future. Thanks. So thank you, Mr. Charles, for sharing that comment with us. It just gives us hope. Love is in the air. Not many people can say that been married for 50 years. So congratulations to you and your wife,
What a testament to marriage, Mr. Anderson. Congratulations.
All right, Andrea, are we back live?
Yes, sorry. So we have another question. Will we have another couples webinar?
Oh, I hope so. Yes, you all tell us what you want, and that's what we give you.
Thank you. And then will this webinar be available to view later?
Yes. So Ms. Bell asked that, and we share a link, on the chat, where we hear our pre-recorded past webinars. This will be up on the website maybe in the next couple of days. We have a specific person that, you know, works with us, and she's part of the marketing department. So if anything, our content manager can harass her and, you know, make sure that that happens. But for everybody that's very interested in this webinar and they want to go through it again and, you know, write down tips or for your own personal reference, please check the link that we'll share on the chat. You can check this presentation and many other presentations we have done since season 1 last year, when, you know, we started this back in March, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just exciting times. But all the webinars that you see, you can see them live and, you know, be here with us, and you can also see them after the fact as well.
Thank you, Eddie, and thank you, Andrea. Do we have any more questions? I think we are coming down to the end here of the webinar. But before we get into the gift cards, also again wanted to remind everyone that we are going to be taking off next Wednesday. It is Valentine's, and so we're going to be taking the night off. But please don't forget to join us again the following Wednesday, where we're going to be presenting another exciting webinar, and it's also in line to what a lot of the questions that were coming through, and it's going to be Retirement Planning 101. So I think that is definitely an exciting topic. So again, this will be on the 21st of this month. So Retirement Planning 101 is what we're going to be covering on the 21st. So again, don't forget, next Wednesday we'll give you a break here. The panelist team have been lobbying to have Valentine's off, and, you know, since they're so amazing, we decided to go ahead and take the night off. But Andrea, do we have any more questions before we proceed to the to spinning the wheel and see who will be the lucky one to take a $200 gift card, Visa gift card here from the credit union?
Yes, we do have one more question. Wait, where'd it go? Oh my goodness.
I have one. It's okay. While you look for that one, you're looking. Amir asked, do you provide line of credits? And I think that was Milton was saying that we're one-stop shop. Amir, we do have line of credits. Contact our lending department through that email that I provided earlier on the chat. You can call us as well. Let us know what you want to do with the line of credit, and we can definitely, you know, put an application for you in. Or if we find a better solution for you with all our diverse products and services, we can do that as well. You know, all we need is our members to communicate with us, and we will find the solution for them.
Thank you, Eddie. I found a question. Will you do a webinar on unsecured home improvement loans or personal loans in general?
Yes, I actually put it in the chat. I wasn't sure if you were going to see that question, if we were going to get to it, but we already have that webinar in the makings, and it's going to come with a promotion. So win-win. So look for that.
And also,
Yes.
it will be presented by somebody, you know, a subject expert. So, you know, we're excited about these webinars, because the upcoming webinars will have new guests, you know, new presenters as well. Of course, we're going to all be on the panelist team as well, but we're just so full of surprises, you know, so stay tuned.
Yeah. And with that being said, I think we are done with all the questions. So